Blue Devil Sports Network. Live from GRUB, this is the Duke Women's Basketball Radio Show. Our coverage of Duke Women's Basketball has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. They say Coke Zero is irresistibly tasty. Does that make it the best Coke ever? Find out for yourself. Alongside head coach Kara Lawson, here's the voice of Duke Women's Basketball, Chris Edwards.
Welcome to GRUB and our final Kara Lawson radio show of the season. It's great to have you with us on this Tuesday night. Coach, always great to be with you as well. Let's look back on the last week or so for your team, the game against Virginia Tech last Thursday, and then the game against Notre Dame last night. As you look back over the last two games, what stands out to you?
Well, two hard-fought losses for us. We knew that last week would be challenging. Two of the best teams in the country by any metric that you look at. And I thought we battled in both games, in particular up in Blacksburg. One possession game virtually felt like the whole time throughout. They executed better late than we did, but it was a great opportunity and a great environment for our young group to play in, and sold out crowd, and certainly one of the top teams that hadn't lost at home yet this year, and we were right there. I had a lot of confidence, I think, just in that performance, even though it was a loss. That might sound strange, but you don't always win them all, and there are some silver linings to losses in terms of the growth that you see and how your team is progressing. Our team continues to progress well, even though we had an 0-2 week. Certainly would have loved for it to be a 2-0 week, but that's the way it goes, and you move on. And then last night, we weren't as sharp as we needed to be on either ends. Certainly a little careless with the ball, the 21 turnovers, and not as sharp defensively as we had been. But now, one day later, we're ready to go, and we fly up to Syracuse tomorrow. And I think sometimes that's good for a team. The players had off today, so I hadn't seen them yet, but I'll see them here in a little bit. But I think the next game is good sometimes. It allows you, the next thing allows you to flush something out of your head quicker, because you have to think about the next thing as opposed to just let the last thing linger too long. So we'll take our lessons that we need to take from the week and see if we can apply them and get a win.
Let's piggyback on a couple of those thoughts, and I want to start with being able to bounce back and move on relatively quickly. Isn't it nice to be in a sport where you get to move on relatively quickly? You don't have to sit around and linger on a loss or sit in your feels, as the kids might say, for a whole week.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, one of the things when, I talk to coaches in different sports, it's always very interesting because the cadence of the games is different. If you talk to a baseball manager, they play every day. And if you talk to a football coach, they play once a week. And so, losing on a Sunday or Saturday can make for a long week. Losing, on a Tuesday matinee in baseball, you might have a doubleheader. You might be able to go 0-for-4 on the afternoon game. You might be able to 4-for-4 in the night game. Yeah. So it is interesting how, I enjoy talking with other coaches of different sports of how they manage just what you're talking about, the bounce back. How do you manage that? And, it's critical that you manage that. Little bounce backs need to occur all throughout the course of the season. Sometimes it needs to occur in the middle of a game. Sometimes it needs to occur after a game. Sometimes it needs to occur after a month. I mean, it just depends on what you're going through. And, all of our players at the start of the year, we talk about, it will feel like this, the year. And as much as you want it to feel like this, sometimes I feel like that's my week. As much as you want your week to feel like this, it's just like this all the time. So instead of wishing for this, learn how to manage this better. And so often we wish for this. We're just like, I just wish it'll be. And it's like, well, good luck with that. Keep wishing for that. Yeah. Get back to me, see if it comes true.
You mentioned silver linings a second ago in growing, finding silver linings in growth. What were the biggest silver linings you found this past week for your team?
I think just the high level competition and being able to, compete in those environments. I think that was a good thing. There's different individual moments. Like I thought Reagan was terrific yesterday. Attacking, being aggressive, scoring. I thought, you know, we competed well. I thought Ashland was a great competitor in the Virginia Tech game. You know, so there's different. I thought Jaden rebounded it well yesterday and certainly had a great pace to her when she was attacking. So there's like little moments of that with each of them, not leaving anybody out on purpose. But, you know, you can go to each player's game or week and look and see like, okay, yeah, like that was better. Okay, yeah, that needs some work. You know, and so that's what you're hoping for, is that there's just, you know, steady uptick to what they're doing.
Is that a byproduct once you see a steady uptick, the players and the assistant coaches getting together and saying, hey, you did this well, let's work on these things as you get ready to get into this next week?
Yeah, I mean, I've told you this before. Most of the good things that happen in our program are players or assistant coaches. You know, they're the ones that the players, I mean, you can't do anything without good players. So, you know, any coach that acts like they're doing something important is wrong. You have good players, good talent. Then once you have good talent, you got to have good teachers on your staff, and we have that. And our assistant coaches do, you know, a lot of the day-to-day managing of just what players need to be learning, managing of their assignments, what they need to be learning, how they need to be taught that, and just connecting with our players. I mean, we have really good relationships with our players, and so I think that's a part of it too, is just talking to them and keeping them motivated, keeping them inspired to continue to play better.
I'll take a break. We'll come back to GRUB and have more with Coach coming up after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Going to hoist up a three. How about another dagger?
This is Duke head women's basketball coach Kara Lawson. When it comes to keeping our team healthy, we turn to the team at Duke Sports Medicine. They offer full-service sports medicine care at locations throughout the Triangle, where you can see the same experts used by Duke Athletics. Make an appointment or learn more at dukehealth.org/sportsmedicine. Go Duke.
The crowd will rise as one, and what a statement, and what a win.
Whether you're in the market for a new boat or just need service or accessories for an existing boat, turn to Overby Marine. Now with 2 locations in Kittrell and Lake Gaston, Overby Marine offers the highest quality marine products and services, including the latest from Sea Ray, Centurion, Avalon, Bennington, as well as Sea Pro Center Console. Overby Marine also offers the largest selection of parts in the region, along with full-service facilities at their 2 locations. So stop by or give them a call at 252-586-3593 or online at overbymarine.com. Overby Marine. Don't let adventure pass you by.
If you've had enough of your windows keeping the house chilly, then fight the February cold with Window Nation. Dennis Cox, my friends at Window Nation. Right now, replace your windows and save big with 50% off on all window styles. Plus, 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 24 months. With proven quality and service, it's no wonder thousands have trusted Window Nation. Don't miss out. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
We're back at GRUB for our final Kara Lawson show of the season. Great to have you with us on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield. Coach, you talked about the environment on Thursday against Virginia Tech. Tremendous environment, but your team, as you mentioned, competed really well in that environment. How much of that goes back to putting your team in those positions during the non-conference schedule, playing in some of those environments to be prepared for the stretch of the ACC season?
Yeah, I think this team has, you know, probably had the most challenging schedule that we've had since I've been here. I think if you pair both the non-conference and the conference and how good the league is this year, how good our division within the league is this year. So this has been the most challenging schedule since I've been here. And obviously we're doing it with the youngest team, so I don't know how smart that is. But yes, there's not a talent level or a venue that's going to intimidate us at this point, right? Doesn't mean we're going to win every time, but there's not. I mean, think about it. We played the USA team.
Yeah.
I mean, we played the #1 team in the country who hasn't lost yet. I mean, so there's not a team that we're going to play that's going to surprise us from a talent perspective. And then from the environment perspective, we played in some really good environments, and we're going to continue to play in more good environments. So I feel like we're well prepared for the postseason, and now, on the road, we need to try and win one of those.
You mentioned the turnovers last night. Something that your team has been doing a pretty good job of recently has been taking care of the basketball. Last night, the third quarter was kind of the turnover quarter, I thought. Was that more of what Notre Dame was doing defensively against your club last night that forced the turnovers, or maybe the offense trying to do a little too much?
I think it was both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was both. I think when things happen in the game, it's very rarely like just one of the teams. I think it's, if something goes wrong for us, I think we're doing something wrong, but sometimes, or most of the time, they're also doing something well. I thought they did a lot well. That's why we struggled to take care of the ball. I thought they pressured us well. I thought they were very active with their hands. I thought they had timely, movements into where our passes were going to be. And so you have to give credit to other people. You can't just be someone that doesn't ever, give credit to other people. I thought both the teams we played this week did a good job, and we're able to come out with the win.
You mentioned Reagan a second ago. She had 23 last night. It was her fourth game with 20 or more points this season, and double figures for the back-to-back games this past week. What do you want to see from her game as we go down the stretch here for your club this year?
Well, I don't like to put a lot of pressure on them in terms of points, because that's not something you can control all the time. But I do think, Reagan being a junior, one of only 3 upperclassmen that we have on our team, I do think both Reagan, Kennedy, and Camilla, there is an expectation for them to continue to rise to the challenge and lead us here now that we're getting to the end of the season. And they've done that all year, but I think there's a reasonable expectation to, continue to have it go up. And so it was nice to see Reagan have, a good scoring night. She's capable of that, and I'd love to see her do it again. It'd be great.
Keep on doing it, right?
Yeah.
How about Taina Mayer and just the game that she has for your team, the way she can impact games in so many ways, whether she can score, got hot last night, had 12 points, but she also facilitates so well. She can, as we've talked about numerous times this year, really impact the game in a variety of ways.
Yeah, she does. I mean, she's a competitor. She's tough. She wants to win. She's still learning. It's her first year in our system, and she's just a sophomore too. So it's been a lot, to put on all of our younger players when you really think about it, to navigate this schedule. We just talked about being the hardest one we've had, and then your starting backcourt is 2 sophomores, and then coming off the bench is a freshman and another sophomore. So they're learning how to grow in these spaces and learning how to be counted on every night and learning how that they have to produce if we're going to have any chance at winning. And that's not easy to do unless you've done it before.
Sure.
And so I'm just proud that they've stepped up and they've been unafraid to take on that challenge. And, have they fallen on their face some games and not done well? Yeah, okay, they have. But there's been other games where they've carried the day and they've won us games. And so, I take a lot of pride in seeing, them stepping up to that challenge and being unafraid of it.
Isn't that kind of a microcosm of life, though, in general? Like some days you just fall on your face. Like it's just not your day, but it's how you learn from those mistakes and those experiences that propel you moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think handling adversity is something that we all have to do, in life. And that's why I love sports. That's why I love being a coach, because it puts you in positions every day to handle adversity. And then you're better prepared, when you stop playing, to be able to handle the things that are thrown your way in life. And so that's one of the biggest things about being involved in sport is you get a chance to help players work on certain skills that they wouldn't get in such a large supply if they weren't playing sports, right? You still have adversity. Everyone has it. But, in sport, you get it every day. You can get it every drill. You can get it every game. You can get it all the time. So just getting that thrown on you all the time just makes them stronger, I think more powerful as people, more confident when they overcome it, and then more belief that they can continue to overcome it.
Let's take a break. We'll come back to GRUB and have more with Coach coming up after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
For any surface in every season, Continental Tire is the smart choice in tires. From ultra-high performance tires like the Extreme Contact Sport to passenger touring tires to all-terrain light truck tires like the Terrain Contact AT, Continental has a tire that gives you confidence no matter the road conditions. Whether you're looking for summer, all-season, or winter tires, Continental Tire has something to fit your needs. Visit ContinentalTire.com to find your ideal tire. Continental Tire, a proud partner of the Duke Blue Devils.
Harris Teeter is proud to assist our communities and our partners every day with their food and pharmacy needs. This year, we've partnered with Duke, Wake Forest, UNC, and NC State to bring you the Big Four Grocery Assist promotion. Each week, one lucky contestant is chosen, and they win $5 in free groceries for every assist by each Big Four school that week. Plus, Harris Teeter will donate $10 for every assist throughout the season to the local food bank to support those in need. Visit HarrisTeeter.com and look for the Grocery Assist page to enter today.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
Back at GRUB with the head coach of the Blue Devils, Carol Lawson, for a final radio show of the season. Coach, we talked earlier in the season from an offensive standpoint about wanting to get to the free throw line more as an offense. Do you feel like your team has done a better job of that recently, getting to the line in games?
I don't know. Have we?
I feel like you have.
Oh. Well, that'd be a good thing because
Yeah.
I think numbers-wise we're one of the lowest in free throw attempts. And we would like to get there more, and we need to attack more. And that's something we talk about. We talk about being aggressive. You know, I think aggression on offense, you know, will lead to more points in the paint. And, you know, if you get to the paint a lot of times, I mean, think about where the fouls are called, like on the court. If you think about, like, if they did a, you know, map of where all the fouls are called,
Yeah.
I would bet you they would be
In the paint, yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
I would think so.
Yeah, they probably have already done that. But, you know, I bet that's where it would
Yeah.
be. When you can just touch the paint, 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 touch the paint. You score, or you get an open shot on the other side of the floor because you kick it, or you get fouled. And so we've been talking about that, is that we need to, our guards, we need to look to be more aggressive. We need to touch the paint more. And if that's manifests itself in more free throw attempts, then that's good.
That's everybody just touching the paint, not just your post players, but your guards as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our forwards, by nature of where they patrol, they're kind of in and around the paint more, so they're touching it more. But we need our guards to touch the paint. Yeah.
As you look ahead to this week, what are the biggest areas of growth you want to see from your club offensively going into these two games?
Well, turnovers.
Sure.
Limit those. Really important in these two games. You know, adherence to scheme, understanding what we're trying to do on certain players, certain teams, and then executing it. That was poor last night for us. And then the one shot, you know, not giving up too many offensive rebounds. Certainly the team we're playing on Thursday is really one of the best offensive rebound teams in the country. We've got to do a good job of keeping them off the glass.
What about rebounding in general for your team? Feels like it's gotten a little bit better for your club as of late. Are you pleased with the effort overall on the glass that your team has shown? Okay.
Has it, though?
I feel like it has, yeah. I mean, you've out-rebounded or been tied in with the rebounding lead for the last 7 or 8 games. I have to go back and double-check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to see more.
Okay.
And I would like to see more rebounding from our wings, is what I would like to see. Outside of Alucci, obviously.
Sure.
Alucci continues to do a great job rebounding. We need more rebounding from our wings. I think our forwards rebounding pretty consistently. Jaden in particular last night rebounded it very well. Kennedy's been rebounding 4 to 5 a game. We need that.
We talked about this, I think, a lot in our pregame conversations, but when you look at the ACC as a whole, man, it feels like the league this year is super guard heavy, doesn't it? Like just so many tremendous guards on every single team this year.
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, every night defensively, there's a player that can go off for 30 on the perimeter. We obviously had these 4 games. I mean, you've got Amor, and then we had Hidalgo, and now you've got Fair. Unbelievable players. And so, and then, of course, NC State has multiple players on their perimeter that can do that. So, yeah, it's a challenge, but it's fun. I mean, that's what you like.
That's
you
why
like
you play in the
against,
league.
Yeah, that's what you like. You like to go against top players.
I do want to ask about the schemes for your players now and for everybody else, because we're getting into a stretch now where most of the games outside of tomorrow night or Thursday night is against somebody in your division that you've already seen this year. There's a lot more film. There's already one game that they've seen against your players. Same for you. How do you go about tweaking the scouting report before what happened in the last game going into this next game against that opponent?
I think we just discussed it as a staff. You know, obviously you go back and watch the first game and see what you liked, what you didn't like, what worked, and where you can change things. But then, you know, also being mindful, like we're a different team than we were when we played, you know, Virginia and NC State, and they are too. I mean, and they're all better, you know, since the last time we've played them, and I think we're better. So, yeah, I think you just get a feel for how well you're playing, what's working well for you at this time, and then also match that up with how they're going to play you and what you need to try and do.
But from a young player perspective in particular, maybe a freshman where there's more film on these first-year, do they have to adjust to the way teams are playing them now, like an adjustment to an adjustment? Does that make sense?
I mean, yes. I think they do have to understand how they're going to be played. You know, most of our freshmen are played kind of the same way. They're not each played the same way, but they each are played the same way. Almost the same way by teams in our league. So I think they kind of have an understanding for that. The hard part is figuring out how to continue to impact, you know, night after night after night. And I shouldn't say that. They're not all played the same way, because, like, obviously we'll play some teams that play zone and some teams that play man. But we've seen enough of that during the year that, you know, we should be able to execute.
I will take a break. We'll come back and have more with Coach coming up from GRUB after this on the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield.
Duke fans know about excellence and the value of a Duke education. So when someone is injured and needs legal help, it makes sense to call the law offices of James Scott Farron, a statewide law firm managed by a Duke Law graduate. If you're injured in an auto accident or on the job, call on the Hurt Line, 1-800-HURT-LINE. The law offices of James Scott Farron, headquartered near Duke at 555 Mangum Street in Durham, North Carolina.
Steel gives you more than just reliable landscaping tools. Steel gives you battery-powered equipment trusted